Let us start the topic. Yes, compiler on interpreters. Compilers and interpreters are used to convert from high-level language to low-level language. Yes, let us see about interpreter and compiler. Yes, today topic is interpreter versus compiler. Yes, interpreter versus compiler. Interpreter versus compiler. Yes, interpreter versus compiler. Yes, let us see first how that interpreter. First about interpreter. Okay. Yes, how interpreter is working. For interpreter, let us take some Python scripts. 1 second. Just a minute. Yeah, just a minute. Today accidentally something Python that script was deleted. Yes, no problem. I will develop otherwise. Just a minute. Okay. D drive. Remain the following. Okay, so let me create. Otherwise, I will create this script. Let's start. The yes. See notepad. Yes, .py. For Python purpose, actually PyCharm we can use. In real-time projects, is a PyCharm. We are using PyCharm. But for understanding purpose, just I'm using Notepad now. Actually, it's a PyCharm. PyCharm is a little bit difficult to understand for you. The Notepad is very simple. Yes, I'm using Notepad. Yes. S.py. Suppose A equal to 10. Yes, B equal to 20. Yes, variable A, B. Next, C equal to A plus B. Yes, print output. Yes, print output. Print. Yes, print. Yes, this addition. Yes, addition equal to. Yes, C. Displaying C. Addition equal to. C equal to. Yes, A minus B. Print. Print. Addition. Subtraction is equal to C, comma C. C equal to yes A into B. Yes, print. Yes, multiplication. Yes, multiplication equal to C. Yeah, this is Python script. Yes, in Python, semicolon is optional. Semicolon you can use or not, that optional. In Python, semicolon is not necessary. Every line is separate statement. Suppose C language, Java, C++, that semicolon requires. Okay, 1 second. See, Vijay has to resign, has to rejoin in session, has to resign. Yes, even Chetan Kumar, Vijay and Chetan Kumar have to resign. These guys have to resign. How to resign? Vijay and Chetan Kumar have to resign into session. Yes, how to resign? Just resign. Yeah, Vijay is okay now. He is okay now. Chetan Kumar has to resign. This guy has to resign. Okay, fine. Yes, let us see. Yes, how interpreter is working here. See. Yes, notepad test.py. So Python script. Yes, A equal to 10, B equal to 20, C equal to A plus B, addition equal to C, C equal to A minus B, subtraction equal to C here. Yes, C equal to A into B. So this is Python script. Python script. Python script. Yes, Python. Yes, Python. Yes, completed. Successfully completed. See, directly submitted, right? Yes, it's not checking for any errors. Directly script submitted. Okay, suppose some mistake, what happens? Suppose let us move comma, some mistake. Yes, next one more mistake. Okay, suppose one more mistake. There are three errors actually, three errors. Now what happens here? Yes, see this. At the first error it stopped. Yes, this is not checked all the errors. Only at the first error only stopped here. At the first error it stopped here. Let us see how this interpreter is working. Python is an interpreter based language. For interpreter, yes, I'm taking Python. Python script. Python. Test.py file. Test.py. Python script. Python script. Python script. Test.py. Python script. Python script. So test.py. That Python script. Okay. Yes. Python script. First statement. Yes. Next statement. Okay. So next statement. So next statement. Yes. Next statement. So next statement. Yes. Next statement. So next statement. Like this next statement. Okay. So like this one by one statements here. One by one statements. One by one statements. There are some statements. Python script statements scripting. Not only Python, any scripting language working same. Scripting language, interpreter based language, same working interpreter. See how that interpreter is working. See here, interpreter checking for the first statements. Suppose first statement is correct. Interpreter checking for first statements. Suppose first statement is correct. Interpreter convert this first statement into binary codes. Just converting this first statement to binary codes. Converting to binary codes, this first statement. Yes, if first statement is correct, yes, immediately converts into binary code. 0s 1s form. System understandable language 0s 1s format. Yes, that is given to processor. It's given to processor. So processor generating outputs. Okay, if first statement is correct, immediately converts into binary code and given to processor generating outputs. See, next coming statements may be right or wrong. Look at next coming statements. Yes, interpreter never think about next coming statements. Yes, if statement is correct, immediately converts into binary code generating output here. Yes, next coming statements, right or wrong. Interpreter never think about next coming statements. Next coming statements may be right or wrong. Never think about next statements. Okay. After finishing first statement checking completed, conversion completed, output also generating. Yes, after that, checking for next statements. Checking for next statements. Suppose next statement also correct. Next statement also correct. Same. Next statement also correct. Same. Converting to binary format. Okay, and given to processor. Given to processor. Processor. Yes, that is generating output. Generating output. Okay. Yes, like this. First statement checking correct. Converting to binary code. Generating output. Next statement checking correct. Converts into binary code. And given to process. Generating output. Suppose next statement something wrong here. Next statement something is wrong. Next statement something is wrong. Interpreter stops. Next statement something is wrong. Some error message, simply interpreter stops. It won't go to next coming statements. Yes, any error comes, simply stops. Any error comes, interpreter stops. Interpreter checking first statement, if it's correct, converts into binary code, generating output. Converting, then executing, converting, then executing, converting, then executing. So line by line, first line conversion, then execution. Next line conversion, then execution. So next line, something wrong, simply stops. Next line, something wrong, simply stops here. This is working of interpreter. See this. See that seventh line, only one error, right? That error, it won't check for next coming statements. No, let us correct that error here. Is correction of the seventh line error. Seventh line, comma missing. Save. And exit. Now run it here. Submitting again here. Yes, now 11th line error. That means checking for only one statement at a time here. If any error comes, simply stopping there. Just any error coming, simply stopping. Okay. So next statement, 11th line. So 11th line here, this is WP is missing. Okay, save and exit. Yes, next. Now run again here. Yes, now again 16th line error. That means only one error showing here. Interpreter shows only one error. Interpreter shows only one error. Let us close this, save and exit. Save and exit. Save and exit. Okay, now run it. Yes, successfully completed. So this is working of interpreter. So interpreter checking line by line. Interpreter checking line by line. Just checking line by line. Line by line. Any error comes, simply stops. So interpreter, you're checking and execution line by line. Line by line. Any error comes, simply stops. Any error comes, simply stops. This is working of interpreter. Okay. Yes. Now compiler. Let us see how compiler is working here. Compiler. Yes, let us see about compiler. How compiler is working here. Compiler. Let us see compiler. See compiler. 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 Okay. Yes, compiler for suppose for this. Let us take C language. Let us take some C language. Some test.c program. C program. Yes. Yes, how this is working. How compiler is working here. See compiler. Checking for the first statement. Checking for the first statement. Suppose first statement is correct. Even first statement is correct. It won't convert into binary code immediately. It won't convert into binary code immediately. Okay. Yes, next checking for next statements. Next statement also correct. Even correct? No, it won't convert into binary code immediately. It won't convert. Next checking for next statement also. Checking for next also. Suppose something wrong. Error yet third line. Error yet third line. Yes, after that checking for next statement also. Even error comes, it goes to next line also. Suppose next line is correct. Then checking for next line. Suppose next line also correct. Then checking for next line. Checking for next. Suppose something wrong. Error yet some line here. So after this checking for next line. Like this compiler checks for the whole program from top to bottom. All the lines from top to bottom. All the lines from top to bottom. All the lines from top to bottom. All the statements from top to bottom. Compiler checks whole program from top to bottom. Compiler checks whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. Compiler checks whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. Okay, compiler checks All the statements from top to bottom shows all the errors. Yes, let me show that example also. Compile the example. Let us see compile the example C language, C program. Let us take C program. Compile C program. Yes, let us take C program for this. C program. C program. One second. Yeah, C program. C program. Yes, main. Yes. One second. C program. Save. Okay. Now compile. Just to compile success. No error. Run. Yes. 10, 20. Addition, subtraction, and multiplication of two numbers. So this is C program. This is C program. Yes, C program. Enter first number, enter second number, first number, second number. Next C equal to A plus B. Addition C equal to A minus B. So addition, subtraction, and multiplication of two numbers. So this is program. Now these some letters, some mistakes. So there are some mistakes. Suppose here semicolon missing. Suppose here bracket missing. Suppose here comma missing. Some missing, suppose semicolon missing. Suppose here double quotation missing. Some statements are missing. Okay. Yes. Next here, comma missing. Okay. Yes. Suppose here one more mistake. Something like this. Now saved. Now compilation. Compile. See that when he compiles, showing all the errors from top to bottom. Errors. Totally 9 errors. Totally 9 errors. See press any key. See that? See, these are first error. Declaration syntaxes, line number 14. See that at the bottom, at the bottom, at the bottom showing that all that. Line number 14 error, 18 error, 22nd line error, 25th line error, 29th line error, 33 line is error, 40th line error. See that? 14th line, 18th line, 22nd line, 25th line. Yes, all the errors from top to bottom. So compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. That's it. Okay, I think it's clear, right? So it says compiler showing all the errors from top to bottom. Yes, compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Okay, compiler checks whole program from top to bottom. Compiler checks whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. This line, this line, this line, all the errors from top to bottom. It shows all the errors from top to bottom. Now you have to correct all the errors. Correction of these errors here. Correction. Yes, let us correct all the errors here. Yes, semicolon here. Yes, here bracket. Yes, here something missing statement. Suppose here comma, comma. Yes. Suppose here semicolon missing. That missing statements. Suppose here double quotation, some errors. Okay. Yes, get ch. This is okay. Yes, compare. Yes, still one more error is error. Errors. One more error. One more error. Enter key. Yes, this statement is error. Yes, comma missing. Here comma missing. Yes, compile. Yes, success. No run it. That's it. 10. Yes, 20. Yes, addition, subtraction. Now what happens here? Now what happens here? Yes, compiler checks whole program from top to bottom. See, interpreter is line by line. First line checking conversion. Second line checking conversion. Any error comes, simply stops. Any error comes, compiler, yes, interpreter stops. But compiler is not like that here. Compiler checks whole program from top to bottom. Compiler checks whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. All the errors. Okay. Now, correction of all the errors. When you correcting all the errors here, yes. So this is correct. Next time, recompilation. After correction, recompilation. When you recompile, everything is fine. When you recompile, everything is fine. If everything is fine, then what happens here? If everything is fine, then compiler opens another file. It opens another file. Just the compiler opens another file. Yes, compiler opens another file. Compiler opening another file. After opening another file, this all the statements, first statement convert into binary code, write to this file. Our second file opens. Okay, next statements. All the statements write into this, converting to binary code, write to second file, writing the second file, writing the second file here. All the statements, all the top to bottom, writing to next. So all the statements. So writing to another file. Another file, right? Yeah, the second file. This file is called as exe file. This is called as exe file. This is called as exe file. Okay. So compiler checking whole program from top to bottom. Compiler checking whole program from top to bottom. If no errors, generating one exe file. Yes, result file one exe file generates. See interpreter. Yes, directly line by line. Line by line working here. No exe file. Interpreter, we are taking line by line then executing. But compiler, what happens here? Compiler generating one exe file. If that exe file given to processor, so processor generating output. That's it here. Okay, let me show that exe file. For example, math.cpp. Yes, a file name is math.cpp. File name is math.cpp. CPP and C language same exe file concept. Yes, math.cpp. So backend. Let us go to backend. Backend. C drive. So backend. C drive. PC. So C drive. T turbo C. Bin. Instead of bin math.cpp. Yes, math.cpp. Here this is math.cpp. See, this is math.cpp file here. Math.cpp. 1 second. That program not saved. File. Save. Program saved. Yes, math.cpp. Just now saved. 12:20 p.m. See, 10th Feb. 12:20 p.m. Just now saved. Okay, so this is a program. Okay, so backend. Now, yes, math.cpp. Now let us compile that. I'm compiling. If I'm compiling, what happens? Backend. Compile. Compiled. Now running. When I'm running here, so when I'm running something, what? 1 second. See, now this program running. Alt run. When I'm running, what happens here? See, backend. See, this is created. Application 12:21. Application is exe file. Backend. Okay, so backend. See that math.exe. Math.exe. Okay, math.exe file. That exe file generates. See, in case of Python scripting here, see Python scripting dir, see .py file. Yes, Python, yes, test.py file. Yes, Python directly executing here. Yes, no exe file, nothing. Directly Python script executing here. Directly Python script. Directly .py file executing. No .exe file. No .exe file. No .exe file. Okay, see this. If it is C program, what happens? In C program, that math.exe file created. In C program. Yes, that math.exe at 12:21. Yes, I'm repeating once again. Yes, once is in use already. First number 10, second number 20. Yes. See this. See here. Yes, I'm deleting again the exe file. that exe file. Yes, math.cpp. See, I'm compiling again. Compile. Yes, run it. See, when I run this, see this. Now it's created. 12:22 PM. Just now create exe file. That exe file created. That exe file contains binary code, system understand language. So exe file is like this. Exe file. So exe format is like this. Exe file. Now that running exe file. Running simply exe file. So what happens here? Yes, if it is compiler, if it is compiler based, what C is a compiler based. If it is compiler, what happens? Compiler checking whole program from top to bottom, checking all the statements from top to bottom. Suppose if no errors, one exe file generates. What is exe file? Exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. That binary code file, exe file given to processor. What is processor? Your question is Sanjay Rani. What is processor? Processor, yes. See, your computer contains one processor. Okay, processor is processing data, executing programs. That processor is a one component, hardware component. Processor is a hardware component. Okay, processor is a hardware component. Yes, processor is a hardware component that will run the programs. Yes, computer processor is like a human brain. Human brain. Yes, what is human brain? Human brain will process everything, right? Yes, human brain instructions, all the instructions from the human brain, same exactly. Processor is same as processor is same as human brain. Human brain, yes, will process everything. Will that brain will process everything, right? Okay. Yes, storage of some human brain, storage memory. Human memory contains storage, data storage. Okay, brain will process that memory data. What data in your memory? That is processing the brain, right? Same here. So computer processor is like a human being brain here. Human being brain here, like a brain. So processing all that. Okay. So processor is just it's a hardware component. Yes, in computer, processor is like a brain, computer brain that will process, means it will take the exe file, processor taking your exe file, then executing and giving output. The processor generating outputs, that's it. Okay, right? So like the same as like your brain. Suppose in memory something is there, that memory data taken by your brain taking data and collecting, yes, doing some calculations, delivering some output, right? That's it. Your brain taking data from your memory, okay, you're checking for data and calculations. After calculations on all this, you're generating output, right? That's it. That is processor. Processor is a hardware component in your computer. So processor takes all this exe file, then executes and generating output. That's it here. Not difference. Interpreter first time converting to binary code, that binary code given to processor generating output. Second line converting into binary code and given to processor generating output like this. It's line by line. So interpreter based program is line by line working here. Line by line. Any error comes, simply stops. Simply stops. Yes, what is compiler? Compiler checks whole program from top to bottom and shows all the errors. Compiler shows all the errors. Compiler shows all the errors. Okay. Suppose if no errors, everything is fine. Everything is fine. Then generating one exe file. This is exe file. Here it's exe file. So this is exe file. Generating that math.exe file. That exe file generates properties. See that exe file. .exe file generated. .exe file generated. Generating one exe file. That exe file given to processor. Processor taking that exe file at a time generating output. That is here. So this is difference between interpreter and compiler. So what's the main difference here? Interpreter, compiler, main difference. Exe. See main difference. See that exe file. Here second file exe file is here. But interpreter based no exe file. See Python scripting. Dir. Yes. Dir test.py file. This file executed directly. Yes, in this result, no exe file. See here, only .py file is there, no .exe file, no .exe. But C program, what happens here? Here .exe file generated. .exe file generated. Yeah, this is main difference. Main difference between interpreter and compiler is exe file. Compiler generates exe file. Compiler generates exe file. Interpreter does not generate exe file. Interpreter does not generate exe file. That's the main difference. Let us see all the differences here. Difference between interpreter and compiler. Yes, let me explain one by one here. Yes, about compiler, interpreter, explain here. Now let us compare this. Let us compare these two differences here. Let us compare these two. Yes, interpreter. Yes, interpreter. So interpreter. Next compiler difference. Interpreter, compiler differences. Difference. What's the difference between these two? Interpreter and compiler difference. See, interpreter. First one. Yes. Yes, interpreter. Yes, it checks the code. It checks the code. It checks the code. It checks the code. Yes, line by line. It checks the code line by line. Interpreter. It checks the code line by line. What is compiler? Yes, it checks. It checks whole program from top to bottom. From top to bottom. So this is first difference. Yes, interpreter checks only one line at a time here. It won't check all, only one line checking, but compiler all the lines from top to bottom. It checks whole program from top to bottom, all the lines from top to bottom. Okay, right? Next output, when come to output here, it generates. Yes, line by line output. It generates output, output line by line. Yes, output of line by line, output of the coming line. First line checking, converting into bandicode, giving output. Second line checking, converting into bandicode, giving output. Line by line output here. Line by line. Compiler. Yes, at a time output. It generates one exe file. Yes, generating exe file. At a time output. You see at a time output here. See at a time output. At a time output. Okay. See interpreter checking line by line, but compiles whole program. Interpreter only one line checking, then generating output. Next line checking, then output. Next line checking, then output. But compiles whole program from top to bottom, generating at a time output. Generating at a time output. That's it. Next, yes, interpreter. It shows only one error. It shows only one error. Any error comes, interpreter stops. It shows only one error. But compiler, yes, it shows all the errors from top to bottom, it shows all the errors from top to bottom. Okay, see interpreter, it shows only one error. Any error comes, interpreter stops. Any error comes, interpreter stops. It's the practically we discussed it. Okay, yes, compiler. One second. Hello, tell me. Hello, tell me. Yes. So compiler, it shows all the errors from top to bottom. It shows all the errors from top to bottom. Okay. Yes. Next main difference. Exe file. Exe file. Yes. It does not generate. Generate exe file. It does not generate exe. Yes. Interpreter. It does not generate exe file. Exe file. Yes. Compiler. Yes. It generates exe. Interpreter, it does not generate exe file. Interpreter does not generate exe file. Compiler generates exe. This is main difference. Main difference between interpreter and compiler. Interpreter no exe file. Compiler generating exe file. Okay, exe file is the main difference. Okay, right? See here, interpreter it executes source code directly. It executes source code directly. Yes, what is source code? Source code means, see, this is source code. Yes, your program. This is source. This is called a source. That English language called a source. C program. Yeah, this is C program source code. This is C program source code. That English language code, C program source code. Similarly, Java program source code, Python source code, that what are the program we are writing. Our program code is a source code. So this is source code. This is source code. This is source code. So what happens? Interpreter based. That source code executing directly here. See that the source codes, yes, executed directly. Source code executing directly here. So interpreter, yes, it executes source code directly. Yes, what is compiler here? Yes, what happens here? Compiler behind of this one generating one exe file. Okay, behind of this, that exe, this exe file generates finally. Exe file, it executes exe file. It executes exe file. It executes exe file. Okay, so interpreter, it executes source code directly, but compiler generating exe file, that exe file executes. Okay, see, interpreter based languages are called scripting languages. Scripting languages. Yes, they're called as scripting language. These are called as programming language. Programming language. Programming language. Scripting programming different is here. Scripting can be modified anytime. Programming language and scripting. Suppose scripting language, open that script. Yes, opening script using notepad, and anytime you can modify the script. No, I don't want that statement here. Yes, on it. That's it here. I want to add this statement again. Okay, I can add it. Okay. Yes, statement added. Statement added. No, that's it here. Okay, executed, right? So anytime we can, that is scripting. Scripting means that can be modified anytime. Scripting means that can be modified anytime. But programming, like a C program or Java program, some programming statement, this programming, once exe file created, that exe file is using here. That exe file execute, this exe file you cannot modify. Once exe file created, once we get the exe, that exe file cannot be modified. Okay. Yes, script no exe file. Since don't have exe file, here directly script. Here this script anytime you can modify and you can run it. But what happens? Programming language, exe file generating. Here some exe that cannot be modified. You cannot, this binary code you cannot modify. You cannot. That is programming scripting. Scripting can be modified anytime here. Scripting can be modified at any time here. Scripting can be modified anytime. Scripting language, why called as scripting? That can be modified anytime. Programming you cannot modify. Okay. Yes. Next. Yes, all the scripting language comes on interpreter based. Yes, scripting language examples here. Scripting language example. Yes, Python is a best example. Python is a best example. Scripting language. Next, HTML is a scripting language. HTML is a scripting language. Next, PHP is a scripting language. Yes, Perl scripting is a scripting language. Next, Linux shell scripting. Linux shell is scripting language. Next, JavaScript. JavaScript also scripting language. JavaScript is not a Java. See, JavaScript is not a Java. JavaScript is different. Java different here. JavaScript is different. Java is different here. If JavaScript is different, Java different. Okay. So JavaScript is different. Java is different here. JavaScript is a browser working in the browser. Java, yes, working with JVM. JavaScript is a browser understandable language. Java is JVM understandable language. Yes, JavaScript is a browser understandable language. Java is a JVM understandable language. Yes, in Java that point will be clear. Practically I'll show. JavaScript or Java practically we'll discuss next. Okay, so these are scripting language examples. These are scripting language examples here. Programming language examples. Programming language. C is a programming language. C is a programming language. C++ is a programming language. C# is a programming language. Okay, .NET C#. .NET C#. C Sharp is a programming language. Okay. So they are scripting language examples. These are programming language examples here. Programming language examples here. Examples. Okay. See here interpreter. See interpreter. Yes, interpreter based language. Interpreter based language. Yes, don't have exe file. Don't have exe file. Interpreter based language don't have exe file. But when come to compiler based here, yes, everything is in exe. Here, always exe creating. Yes, everything always using exe file. Okay, so here always using exe file. See, interpreter based language don't have exe, no exe. Yes, here everything is exe file. Everything, yes, everything is an exe. All are exe file. Only exe files. Always exe file working here. Here always exe file working. Always exe. Okay. Next scripting language. It can be modified anytime. Yes, it is an open source. It's an open source. Open source. Open source means it can be modified anytime. It's an open source. Yes, it can be. It can be modified. It can be modified. Modified at any time. It can be modified at any time. Anytime. Open source means if we are able to modify, that is called open source. But this cannot be modified. Programming language cannot be modified. It is not an open source. It is not an open source. It's not an open source here. Okay. Yes, it cannot be modified. It cannot be modified. It cannot be modified. 1 second. Yes, here some guys may be doubt. Open source, not an open source. It can be modified. It cannot be modified. Despite more clarity getting in Java. Once Java started, that time I'll explain this point 1 second here. Open source, closed source, what's the difference? Exactly what is open source? Okay, we'll discuss. This point I'll explain. Wait. Okay. So this is interpreter and compiler differences here. So interpreter line by line, checking first line, then execution. Next line checking, then execution. But compiler is not like that. Checking all statements from top to bottom. Checking all the statements from top to bottom. If no errors, then at a time executing that exe file. If no errors, generating one exe file, that exe file executing. So at a time output, compile is yet at the exe file running and giving output. But interpret line by line running and giving output. Next, interpreter only one error, but compiler all the errors. See main difference exe file. This is main difference. Interpret it does not generate exe file. Compiler generates exe file. Compiler generates exe file. Yes, interpret directly source code executes. Source code executes directly here. But interpreter exe file, it executes exe file. It executes exe file. So this is different between interpreter and compiler. Now here, some doubt here. Yes, you guys may be wondering. Yeah, this Mr. M.N. Rao is talking about all different things, different kind of things. Where is Java? He's not talking about Java. There's a doubt getting here. Java, yes, is it interpreter based or compiler based? Anyone idea? Java, is it interpreter? Now let us come to Java. Let us see. Now let us start now Java. Now I'm starting Java. Java. Java, is it interpreter based or compiler based? Yes. Anyone idea? Yes, of course, I'll explain. Yes, even don't have idea, no issue. I'll explain. I'll explain. Okay. I'll explain. Yes, interpreter based, compiler based. Yes, most of the guys saying that compiler based, compiler based, compiler based. Shanku Raj compiler based, Sanjay Rani compiler based, Vijay compiler based. Yes, Suji, Sandeep Kumar compiler based. Okay. Yeah, let me explain. I'll explain about Java, then you decide it finally. Yes, Avinash saying that both. Yeah, first let me explain Java. How Java is working. Let me explain about Java. then you decide it. I will explain about Java, you decide it. Okay, I'll explain about Java, then finally you decide it here. Yes, let us start. See, Java, okay. See, except Java in other languages, what happens? Except Java in other languages, what happens here? Yes, your source code simply converts into binary code. Source code converts into binary code. Source code converts into binary code. Binary code means 0s1s format. Source code. See, this is source code, right? This is source. That source code converts into binary format. Binary format is like this. Binary format. Like this. This is source. That source code converted into binary format like this. Binary format. This is source code. This source code converts into this kind of binary format. Any language except Java. Any language except Java, C program or C++, Python or JavaScript or HTML or shell script, any language. Yes, except Java in other languages, source code converts into binary code. That binary code given to processor. So processor taking that code and generating output. This is what is happening in other languages. Now let us see in Java. In Java, what happens? Java, what happens here? Java source codes. Yes. Now let us go to Java also. Here, CLS, Java. Yes, Java. Yes, Notepad. Suppose sample.java program file. Sample. I'm writing some .java program file here. Yes, public. Yes, let us see Java also. Public class, some sample class. Okay, starting class, starting ending. Okay, it's public, static, void, main. Yes, you guys don't worry. Yes, Java programming not started. This is just one example. Java is it compiler or interpreter based? Only for understanding purpose. Some example explain here, but Java programming not started. Yes, to start Java programming, first of all, I have to explain how to install Java installation, Eclipse installation. After finishing all the installations, I'll start Java programming. Yes, I think tomorrow installation topic only. So once installation is completed here, then programming starts. But tomorrow installation, programming starts. Yes, system dot out dot println. Yes, this hello world. So this is Java, simple Java program. Save. Yes, actually Java program using Eclipse. See Eclipse. Using Eclipse. Yes, today morning batch. Further some exception handling explained. Sorry, files concept explained. Files concept. So using Eclipse every day, daily class using Eclipse only. For understanding purpose, just I'm using Notepad now. Understanding purpose, simply Notepad I'm using. Save, and X. Or else Control S also can save, not DR. See that sample.java program developer. Now I'm compiling Java C sample.java. Java C sample.java. Yes, compiling. Sample.java is a source code. Okay, source code. That source code converting into what? Here, see dot class file generated. So this dot class file is a bytecode file, not a binary code. Dot class is a bytecode. It's a bytecode file. It's a bytecode. Source code converts into bytecode. Converts into bytecodes. Okay, bytecodes. Now here Java compiler. See Java C means it's a Java compiler. Java compiler checked all the errors. So Java compiler checking all the errors here. Yes, here no error. Simply generated one dot class file. So Java compiler checks for all the errors. Java compiler checks for all the errors. If no errors, generating dot class files bytecode. Source code converting to bytecodes. After that, next what happens here? After that, what happens here? Now Java program running Java sample. That sample dot class file running here. Sample dot class. Yes, hello world. Now this is what interpreter. It's a Java interpreter. Now Java interpreter taking dot class file here, line by line converting to bytecode and execution. Okay, that bytecode dot class file bytecode, that bytecode converting to bindy codes, converting to bindy code. Yes, that bindy code given to processor. So generating final output, right? Yes, see, in other language, source code to bindy code directly, only one step. Other language, only one step. But when come to Java, so first source code conversion to bytecode to binary code. In Java, some intermediate code was introduced here. Bytecode introduced. Some intermediate code, bytecode introduced. So why bytecode introduced? Reason to make the Java as independent platform. For the purpose of independent platform, bytecode introduced. Yes, we'll discuss. I'll explain. Wait. What is exactly bytecode? I'll explain next. Wait. Okay. Yes. Source code to bytecode. This part, step one. This part, step one by the compiler. So this is by the compiler. This is by the Java compiler. This is by the Java compiler. This is by Java compiler. Next, this part, bytecode to binary code by the Java interpreter. So this part by the Java interpreter. Java interpreter. H. Java interpreter. So first part by the Java compiler, second part by the interpreter. So what is happening here? Here that sample.java file is given to Java compiler, Java C compiler. Okay, sample.java file given to Java C compiler. Okay, no errors. Yes, sample.java is a source code. This is source code. Sample.java is a source. It's a source code. Okay, sample.java is a source code. Source code, the source code file. Yes, source code file. Yes, source code file. Yes, source code sample.java is source code file. That source code file given to Java compiler. Java compiler source code given to Java compiler. Then generated one sample dot class file. Sample dot class generating sample dot class means a bytecode. It's a bytecode. Yes, it's a bytecode. It's a bytecode. Okay, sample.java source code given to Java compiler. Yes, Java compiler, no errors. Generating dot class means bytecode. It's a byte. This is bytecode. After this bytecode, now this bytecode file dot class file given to Java interpreter. Java interpreter. Okay. Yes. Dot Java file given to compiler. Result is dot class file. That dot class file given to Java interpreter. So interpreter taking dot class file, converting to binary codes. And given to processor. So processor taking that code, generating outputs. That's it here. That's it. So what is happening here? Yes. In Java, what happens here? Errors. Yes, in Java, errors. Error checking by the compiler. Errors checking by the compiler. Okay. Errors in Java, errors checking by the compiler. Yes. Next, program execution runtime. Program execution means runtime. So which one is working at runtime? Interpreter. Program execution by the interpreter. Right? Interpreter. Program execution by the interpreter. Okay. Yes. Errors checking by the Java compiler. If no error, generating dot class file. Get the dot class file program execution by the execution runtime. Program running by the interpreter. Okay. So what is happening here? So first Java C compiled. After that execution Java sample. So this is a compiler. This is interpreter. That's it. Now tell me guys, Java depends on what? Is it interpreter, compiler, or both? Is it interpreter or compiler or both? Tell me guys, come to some conclusion. As per my explanation, here, come to some idea. Yes, is it compiler dependent or interpreter dependent or both? Come on guys. Come on. See, my class are interactive classes. It's not like other trainers classes. My classes are interactive classes. Please respond. Right or wrong, that's not an issue.
Both, sir.
If you're saying wrongly here, if you're saying wrongly, I'll correct it. Okay, suppose saying correct, no issue. Yes, you can ping in chat box available. 1 second. Here chat box available. Suppose here, yes, if you're trying to speak, maybe getting some disturbance. So chat box available, you can use that chat box. You can use chat box. Yes. Now Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Java depends on both here. See Java depends on both Java depends on both. Yes, both compiler as well interpreter as well interpreter as well interpreter as well interpreter as well interpreter. So Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. That's it. Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. That's it here. So errors checking by the compiler, program execution by the interpreter. So depends on both the compiler as well as interpreter. Yes, now here some question for you guys. Here 8th point, as for 8th point here, let me repeat 8th point. 8th point. See, interpreter based language don't have exe file. Interpreter based language, yes. See any language runtime means program execution by the interpreter. Any language runtime is an interpreter based. Any language, take any language. Okay, like many language like C, C++, Java, Python, HTML, PHP, okay, Perl scripting, shell scripting, like this many language. So any language runtime is an interpreter based. Runtime is program execution. You program executing by the interpreter, that case don't have exe file. It don't have exe file, no exe file concepts. Okay, any language runtime is an interpreter based, don't have exe file. Any language runtime, that means program executing by the interpreter. If program executing by the interpreter, no exe file concept, Now question for you guys. Question for you guys. Can we create exe file in Java? This is interview question. Okay. Or question will like this. Yes, is there any exe file concept in Java? That's the question. Tell me, as per this point, tell me answer. Based on this point, yes, if program execution by the interpreter, no exe file. Yes, even I'll write that also. If program, yes, execution by the interpreter, yes, interpreter, no exe file. Now tell me, yes, in Java, yes, can we create exe file, or is there any exe file concept in Java? Just try to answer it. Is there any exe file concept in Java? See, as per this point, yes, as per what we discussed now, till now, based on my explanation, based on this explanation here, and based on this point here, finally tell me, can we create exe file in Java? Yes, my question is, can we create exe file in Java? Yes or no answer. I'm not expecting for any explanation. Okay, I'm expecting for yes or no. Can we create exe file in Java? Is there any exe file concept in Java? Yes, say yes or no. That's it. See. Okay. Yes, some guys are saying yes, some guys are saying no. Yes, who are saying yes? See, listen to my topic again. Who are saying yes? Who are saying yes? Listen to my topic again. See, Java depends on both the compile as well interpret. That's okay. Java program execution by the interpreter. Java program execution by the interpreter, runtime by the interpreter. Program executing by the interpreter means no exe file. See, any language runtime is interpreter as no exe, don't have exe file. Program executed by the interpreter, no exe file concepts. Program executing by the interpreter, program execution by the interpreter, if it is executing by the interpreter, runtime by the interpreter, no exe file. Not Java runtime by what? Interpreter. Now link this and this. Based on this, try to answer it now here. Program execution by the interpreter, no exe file. Program execution by the interpreter, no exe file. Java program execution by the interpreter. No, is there an exe file? Now try to link this and that. See, I'm repeating once again. Program execution by the interpreter, no exe file. Program interpreter, program executing by the interpreter, no exe file. Java program executing by the interpreter. Java program execution by the interpreter. Okay, no exe file. Is it clear? Now tell me. Yes, can we create exe file in Java? Is there an exe file in Java? Based on this point, try to understand the point. Try to understand this point here. Very clearly explain here. Yes, if it is by the interpreter, no exe file. Java runtime is interpreter based. If runtime by the interpreter, runtime is an interpreter, no exe file. Java runtime is interpreter based. So is there an exe file in Java? Next, one more point here. See, what are the steps in writing Java program? See, up arrow key. I'm using up arrow key to get the previous comments. Yes, first step is notepad. Sample.java. So .java file got it. Okay. Next compilation Java C test.java. Java C test.java. Test.java. Compiled. Sorry, sample.java. Sample.java. Yes, compiled. Compiled, right? Yes, compiled. Yes, after compilation dot class file. Next, running your program Java sample. Running. Yes, output. Yes. Have you observed any exe file in this process? Program development notepads, compilation Java C, running by the interpreter. In this whole process, in these steps, have you seen any exe file here? Dot class is not exe file. Dot class is different. Exe file is different here. Have you seen any exe file here? In this process, in this whole process, have you seen any exe file? No. No. Where that exe file observed? No. Okay. So Java don't have exe file concept here. Can we create exe file in Java? No. No. Yes, there is no exe file concept in Java. There is no. Yes, there is no exe file concept. There is no exe file concept in Java. Java. See, if exe file concept is that is OS dependent, platform dependent, but Java is independent of platform. Get the topic tomorrow. We'll discuss. Tomorrow independent of platform. Tomorrow starting that independent of platform. Yes. So here, yes, there is no exe file. There is no exe file concept in Java. So what is exe file? See exe. Yes. See dot class is not exe file. Dot class. Yes, is not an exe file. Dot class is not an exe file. Dot class is not an exe file. Exe file different. Dot class file is different here. See exe file. Exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. Exe is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. Yes, it's a system understandable language. System understandable language. It's system understandable language. System is processor. It's a processor understandable language. exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. It's a system understandable language. Yes, what is dot class? See dot class. See dot class. Dot class file is a byte code file. It's a dot class a byte code file. Yes, it is a JVM understandable language. That is different. This both are not same. Yes, some guys are thinking that dot class is exe file. No, wrong. Even some trainers also says that dot class files are exe files. In Java, dot class files are exe files. No, 100% wrong. What is exe file? What is dot class file? I'll explain practically. Tomorrow, I'll show practically. Exe file contains what? What is inside the exe file? What is inside of dot class file? Practically, I'll show. I'll open those two files. I'll open dot class file and I'll open dot exe file. What does it contain? That contents. Yes, I'll show very clearly. So dot exe is different, dot class is different here. See, most of the websites, most of trainers, they are giving wrong information. Java dot class files are exe files. That is 100% wrong. That is not correct. 100% wrong. I'll tell you exactly difference. Okay. Here, this is about this. So Java depends on both here. So Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. That's it. See same topic. Let us see the document. Today topic. Just your class document. See, you guys, running notes is not necessary. Yes, you don't write any running notes. It's not necessary. It's there in document. See difference between interpreter and compiler. That all the 9 statements, that 9 differences prepared in document here. Interpreter, line by line. Yes. Compiler. Yes, whole program at a time, top to all the lines. Line by line output here. This whole output at a time. Okay. Yes, it shows only one error. It shows only one error. It shows all the errors, the differences. Okay. Yes, it will not generate exe file. Yes, no errors. It then generating exe file. The source code executes, exe file executes. These are scripting languages. So these are programming languages. Examples. Okay. Yes, that all the difference very clearly prepared in document here. Yes, I'll share documents. Yeah, 100%. This document for you only. Today I'm giving access, drive access. After finishing class, I'll give the drive access. After finishing class, I'll give the drive access. See, Java depends on, yes, Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. Java error checking by the compiler. Java error checking by the compiler. If no errors, Java compiler generates dot class file. Dot class file. Dot class file is a byte code file. Okay. Yes. No, binary. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good question. Lavanya, good question. See here. Yes. Here, but why no exe file? You asking byte code to binary code conversion. See, first line converting into binary. Yes, interpreter. Java interpreter converting first line to binary code, then executing immediately. Okay. Next line converting into binary code and executing. So output getting immediately. It's not writing to another file, that exe file, like this. Java, it won't generate that exe. It won't generate next another file. This whole code writing to one exe file, finally executing. It won't happen like this. In Java, what happens at runtime? What happens line by line execution? Compile time, whole program compiling from top to bottom. If no error, generating one dot class file. The dot class file executes line by line. Java interpreter taking first line, converting to binary code and generating output. Yes, even generating binary code, that is not exe. That is not exe format. Exe format is different, binary code is different here. Okay. See, this is converting. The first line converting to binary code, then execute it. Second line convert to binary code, execute it. Okay, but yes, C language compiler, what happens here? Complete code converting into binary code and writing to one exe file. Exe file. That is exe. writing to another file. So this generating another file, but in Java it won't generate .exe file. Dot class file directly executing. Dot class file converting to binary code, then line by line executing. It won't generate result exe. This total all the code, complete code convert into one binary format, writing to another file. No, it won't. Is it clear? Okay, is it clear? Yes. So no exe file concept in Java. It won't generate the exe file like this, line by line execution. It won't generate any exe file like this. Okay, tomorrow class I'll clear that. One second. Exe file dot class file differences in tomorrow class. Tomorrow is very interesting, no doubt. Tomorrow topic is independent of platform topic. Independent of platform. Okay. Yes. See this source code to byte code, same what we discussed. Source code to byte code by the compiler, byte code to binary code by the interpreter. Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. Okay. Yes. Yes, Java runtime is interpreter based. Okay, since Java runtime is interpreter, no exe file concept in Java. Okay, yes. Can we create exe file in Java? No. There is no concept of exe file in Java. Java, everything is dot class file. Dot class file is not exe file. Yes, Suman Kalyan, instead of exe, we will create dot class file. Yes, of course. But dot exe different, dot class file is different. Dot exe different, dot class file is different here. Okay, of course, in place of exe file, instead of exe file, creating dot class file is fine. I'll agree with you. Dot class file is independent of OS, but exe file is OS dependent. Exe file is OS dependent. Dot class is independent of OS. The topic tomorrow you can understand. Dot exe, dot class, the differences I'll explain very clearly. Okay. See, exe file is a binary code file. It's a processor understandable language. Dot class is a byte code file and it's a JVM understandable language. JVM understandable. Okay. Yes. Features of Java independent platform. Yes. Now we can understand independent platform. Yes. Last two classes are the prerequisites for Java features. To understand all the Java features, last two classes are prerequisites. That basics. If you know that basics, easy to understand. Now tomorrow class is very easy to understand. Tomorrow class depends on yesterday's and today's session. Tomorrow's class. Tomorrow's class depends on the yesterday and today's topic here. Now you can understand features there easily here. Yes. Tomorrow we'll discuss about about what is exe file, what is dot class for difference. How Java made us independent of platform. The topic tomorrow we'll discuss. Okay. After finishing that, we go for Java installation and writing programming. That's it. Okay. Yes. Any doubts? Yes, guys. Any doubts? Any doubts? If no doubts, let us wind up session for today. One second. Chetan Kumar. Just a minute. Yes, done already. One second. Let me check it. Just a minute. Yeah. I will do it. Don't worry. I will do it now. Chetan Kumar, I will do it. Yes, done. Yes, done. Check it now. Yes, one second. Yeah, someone is asking doubts. Chetan Kumar, okay, done. Next notes, yeah, I'll share it today. Today I'll give the drive access. No, in mobile you can't use Java installation. You can't. Don't have that compulsory laptop required. Okay, Sanjay Rani laptop required to practice Java. On mobile you cannot practice Java. For code you have to write lot of things will be there. Now this is a theory concept, but going forward, very you see this. For example, this is a program. How can you type in mobile the program files concept? For example, okay, they are the programs. How can you type this kind of programming? Okay, next JDK software install. Software you cannot install on mobile. Okay, mobile is a Android device, right? So JDK for Android is not available. JDK for Windows available. JDK for Mac is available. JDK for Linux is available. Okay. Yes. Yes, Suman. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, anyone can understand my topics. That's the reason I was saying that non-IT background guys also can understand very clearly. Yeah, 100% till the end of the course, same like a spoon feeding. I'll explain very clearly. Even once entering into programming, I'll explain very slowly. See, I'll type and explain. This is not copy and pasted. Yes, I have typing and explaining. So line by line, first statement, yes, what is aux dot length is not equal to what is this, what is this, what's the purpose of this statement, what is the purpose? Line by line I'll explain here. Every line, so I will type and I'll explain here. It's not copy and pasting all the existing program. Some trainers will copy the existing program. It's not like that. It's not like that here. Yes, my case, what I will do here, every program I'll type it. I'll show it compulsory here. Okay. Live explanation. It's live explanation. Till end of the course. Okay, till end of the course, same way of explanation. Yes, how to pay the fees. Yeah, 1 second. 1 second. Yes, are you there in WhatsApp, Mr. Suman? Suman Kalyan? Yes, you are not in WhatsApp group. Yes, in WhatsApp group, today I will share the payment details. Yes, this is my WhatsApp number. 8179189123. Take this WhatsApp number. Yes, in WhatsApp, I'll share the details. Don't worry. Okay. Of course, already will be receiving one email about payment details. Even I'll share it now. I'll share. Okay. Shankar Raj. I paid fees, but daily class link not getting a. Yeah. Are you there in WhatsApp group, Mr. Shankar Raj? I think you are there in group. Yeah. So in group, I'm sharing the same link every day. Till Saturday, same link. No change in link here. Till Saturday, same link here. If any changes are there, I'll inform. If any changes are there, I'll inform in the group. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that payment details and all that I'll share in the WhatsApp. See, if anyone not in group, yes, share about your name. Yes, your name, your Gmail ID is enough. Name and your Gmail ID. Yes, today I'm giving access to all the software recordings. I'm giving access to Drive. Yes. After finishing class immediately, now I will give the access to Drive. Okay. Yes. Right. Smita, what time you want? Yes, morning. Yes. 9:15. Is it okay? Now you are in 11:45. Now change to which time? Now you are in 11:45. That's okay. Now you want to change to which time? You're saying that I change time means yes, then you continue with this time condition. No worry. Okay. Yes. This you can continue this time only. No change in this time. Batch time same. This will be continued. Okay, right? See guys, still any requirements of the ping in WhatsApp. Just you feel like a friend or your brother or your sister, something like this. Like a sister and brothers or like a your family member, like your friend. Don't like a sir and student. We are like a friends. So just I'll move like a friendly. Okay, any kind of just you can ask me in WhatsApp. WhatsApp available. In WhatsApp, you can ask me anyone, any doubts, no issue. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's all. Yes. No, till now discussed everything shared in the WhatsApp group. In group, yes, yesterday class, last 3 classes shared, and recording also shared. Recordings are shared in the WhatsApp group. Today I'll give the drive access. Complete drive access I'll give here. Yes, you can access drive. You can get everything here. Just like software, next your class document, next recording, everything you can see in drive. Yes, I'll give the access now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. So tomorrow same link, same link, same link till Saturday. Same link till Saturday. Same link till Saturday. No change. Yes, if any changes, I'll inform you. If any changes, I'll inform you WhatsApp. That's why I'm maintaining WhatsApp group. Reason is that for information purpose, for doubts clearing. That's it. So 24/7 support will be there. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah. See you tomorrow, guys. Have a great day. Have a great day.